I came here this morning to talk about an idea. An idea, when it's first born, is a fragile little thing. It needs to be nourished, it needs to be taken care of. And if not, sometimes those ideas just kind of die. I have a lot of ideas that I just let die. But this one that I'm going to tell you about today, not really my original idea, but I was part of it, and we sort of watched that idea grow up. This idea started back in 2007 with my friend Mark. Mark St. Peter, he's probably better known by his phone number over at City Auto Glass, 252-1000. My friend Mark calls me up one day. I was sitting at work. He says, "Craig, what do you think about litter?" I said, "It's kind of a pet peeve of mine." He says, "You want to do something about it?" I said, "Sure." I'm thinking our two families can get together, pick up a bike path or something. I said, "What do you have in mind?" I hear, "Citywide litter pickup." I said, "Well, good to start small." We got together over coffee. And I said, what do you got in mind?" He says, "Well, I was kind of going to let you take care of all the details." I started putting some thoughts together, kind of formulating this idea and getting it ready to sell to people. I put together a prototype of a brochure to get people to sign up. Now, as Mark and I talked, we knew that we wanted kind of a partnership between the city, not leaving the city in charge of everything. It would probably take some involvement by businesses that would have an interest in this as well. And we knew that we'd probably need just individuals to take part and probably do the work of picking up litter. We talked that around to some friends of ours. Mark knew John Wade, the Chamber of Commerce president here, so we pitched an idea to him, and each time we talked to somebody, we refined it a little bit more, brought it along a little bit further. Finally, we were ready to take it to the city. And we pitched it to Mayor Brady. By this time, we had a pretty good argument for how it would work. I had a pretty good idea what I wanted. I envisioned lots of people just going out on their own, picking up litter. We'd have some of Mark's friends and my own friends that had pickups, and we'd go around, we'd pick up this trash from them, and we'd take it all to one big place. We had a guy out at RCTC who was going to let us put it all in his parking lot, and we were going to build this big trash mountain. And it would be a great visual. So we pitched this idea to the city, and for the most part, they liked it, except for that part about Trash Mountain. They thought, trash is going to blow everywhere, it's going to be a liability, we don't want to have anything to do with that. But Mayor Brady liked the idea, and of course, one of the first things you need to do is come up with a logo. So this is back in 2007, and we came up with Mayor Brady's term for the whole thing was a litter bit better. Let's make Rochester a litter bit better. Well, we kicked it off. Every year since 2007, there's been a poster contest. We've had a poster to demonstrate the event and advertise the event. This is the original one from 2007. You may see something that looks more like this around town these days. And we do have in the elementary schools, a poster contest every year, and there's always a grand winner that gets to have their poster put out around town. So the idea was born and sort of became a living thing. And now that idea developed into actually an ongoing annual program called Litter Bit Better. The way this works, you have a little bit of information in front of you now, but there's three things you have to do. You have to sign up, you have to pick up, and you have to call up. So the first thing you do is you go out to the website that's on that brochure, that piece of paper I just sent around, and there's a map of Rochester there with all the areas marked out in green. When they're adopted, they become orange. Let's go back. With a little number on it. You simply call one number and say, "I'd like to adopt area 106. And they say, "Great. When are you thinking of doing it?" "We'll do it Wednesday afternoon of the week of Litter Bit Better, Wednesday the 26th. "Great. How many people?" "We'll have about 15 people. That's all it takes. They send a little packet out to you with the group leader guide and some instructions. You walk over to Quick Trip, walk in and say, "We're doing a litter pickup for Litter Bit Better," and they hand you, "How many green bags would you like and how many blue bags would you like?" You take those bags, give them to your group. You arrange it on your own schedule. We usually put a little celebration around this. It can be any sort of a group. We get groups that, whether they're high school groups or community groups, even individuals will just go out and pick up on their own. Lots of kids get involved. It's a great way to teach kids not to litter after they have to pick up somebody else's. And then when you're, again, the dates for this year, April 21st to 28th. Just pick a date, sign up, pick up, and then call up. When you call up, when you're done picking up, you pile up your bags in a location wherever you are in your assigned area, and you call a phone number and say, I left 15 bags laying at the corner of 4th and Elm. And they say, great, we'll pick them up. And you go home, or you go out and celebrate. That's all there is to it. The city coordinates a pickup with some private individuals and some city trucks and things, and they collect all the garbage to a central location. Now, what we discovered this first year is after we picked everything up, one of the sponsors that we had, that was a big, important sponsor, was Waste Management. So they allowed all the trash to come out to Waste Management instead of the parking lot at RCTC. They thought it was kind of cool that they got all this litter picked up. And they piled it all up in their big station, or their big warehouse out there where they could weigh it and everything. And they said, you guys got to come out here. We got this big pile. It's like a mountain of trash. So the steering committee who went out was going to go out there that morning to have photo op with the TV station and everything. I'm wearing my black suit with my red tie and on my way to work at the credit union. And I'm tooling around up by Century High School, and I'm on my way down there, and I see a dozen bags sitting right across from Century High School, green garbage bags. So I stop, I pull up on the boulevard, and I throw a dozen garbage bags into my truck, and I tool down to Waste Management, pull up into that warehouse, hop up in my truck, start throwing garbage bags onto Trash Mountain, not realizing I was on KTTC in my suit throwing garbage around. But they thought this was a pretty good visual, that we would have Trash Mountain. Over the years, we've done this over and over again, every year now. And it's become sort of an ongoing, almost drives itself. But there are some numbers involved with this. Let's talk about the dollars first, because everything takes money. We do get some cash donations from people. We sort of operate on a just-in-time donation. When we run out of money, some money comes in. When we run, just like a church. Yeah, when we run out of money, money comes in. But we average about $5,000, and we only fundraise when we really need to do it, so it tends to come in big blocks. The big donations come in-kind donations, where companies either donate time or their equipment, and particularly Waste Management. What we discovered is the county will not waive fees for a litter that's collected. We have to pay for every pound of litter that we take over to the facility. Waste Management is able to do that as part of their negotiated deal. So that saves us a lot of money. In fact, over the course of this program, in the 13 years, it amounts to about $730,000 with all the different things that businesses have donated, roughly $66,000 a year. We also couldn't do it without the volunteers. We average about 3,000 volunteers every year for about 250 groups and areas that get picked up. That's maintained sort of steady. The types of litter that we get, pretty much all trash by weight. Everything is almost trash. We get a chunk of recyclables, and we're able to keep those separate. They don't weigh very much, of course. Empty plastic bottles, empty tin, aluminum cans. But most of it is just trash. Probably the thing by volume that we see most of is styrofoam. Our group picks up down by Silver Lake. Almost everything we see is styrofoam floating down the river. Let's talk about total poundage. In 13 years, groups have picked up 262,000 pounds, 130 tons, averaging about 12 tons a year of litter that gets picked up through this program. So that's kind of a satisfying number to see when we're thinking that it started out with thinking we were going to go pick up a bike path. And makes a pretty good trash mountain. Madam Toastmaster.